Quebec, Canada, fighting Troy the Destroyer Dorsey. 12 rounds for the World Super Lightweight Championship.
What are you going to do now as far as kickboxing?
First, I want to thank God. Say hello to my wife, Shelly and Kendra. Happy birthday, Shane. And thank all of my instructors and students at my school. Now, pick up kickboxing and boxing both again and go after a world title.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. All right. The winner and still our World Super Lightweight Champion of the world, Troy the Destroyer Dorsey!
Welcome back, everyone, to If the Gloves Could Talk. I'm your host, Bryce George, here with you today. And I know our setup looks a little bit different. Troy, he has run off and he's on the loose. I don't know where he's at. No, but today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's our last episode before Christmas. And if Troy was here with me right now, I know him and I would both be telling you Merry Christmas. And we're only on, I believe this will be our 4th episode we're launching, but we're so grateful for y'all just supporting us and watching the show and being our biggest fans. So just want to first say thank you for that. We have an exciting episode planned for you guys today. So first up, as always, we're going to be starting with our A Blast from the Past segment. And in case, if this is your first time watching the show, we have been recording with Troy since March of last year. So there's a lot of content in the archives, and we're slowly going to be revealing it to you guys. This past episode's from July 28th of 2022. And it's not going to be with me. It's actually going to be recorded with Mr. Rick Larkin, who is the owner of our production studio here. So you're going to take a quick look at that. It's about an 11-minute clip. And when we are finished with that, we'll come right back to talk more.
We have with us Mr. Troy Dorsey, and for some of you, you're like, all right, what, Rick? You got this little skinny old man next to you. You know what's so special about Troy Dorsey? Well, let me tell you something about Troy. Troy's from Mansfield, Texas. He's an 8-time world boxing champion. Is that right?
World champion.
World champion. So it's been karate, it's been boxing. As a matter of fact, he's the only one that we know of, right? That's
yes,
had
sir.
the boxing and karate championship, world championship,
and kickboxing.
Those
3. Yes, sir.
Troy, I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Mr.
Hey,
Larkin.
how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a little hot here in Texas, but I'm kind of used to it.
I know it's hot in Texas. It's hot in the studio. You got all these lights coming on. You got makeup people putting on makeup on you, getting your hair fixed up. But Troy, seriously, you're from Mansfield, right?
Yes, I was born and raised in Mansfield. Went to high school here.
Born, raised in Mansfield, and at some point you decided in high school you said, "All right, you know what? I'm tired of getting in fights and maybe not winning. I'm tired of maybe getting picked on." I don't know what your story was. Troy, what is your story? What made you go from Troy Dorsey to Troy Dorsey, the karate champion?
Well, I was getting picked on in 5th grade, so a little earlier than what you were talking about. So that year, after 5th grade, this summer, my dad started me and my 2 brothers, Brian and Rodney, in karate so we could defend ourselves. And then I went back to school, and I thought I was Bruce Lee, of course, in the 6th grade. And the guy came up to me so I fought back. And did I win? I don't really think I won. Did I lose? No, I think it was just kind of like he hit me.
Messing with you?
Yeah, and it stopped.
I'm going to go way ahead here, but were into your prime of your boxing. And when you're boxing, and we're not talking karate or kickboxing right now, we're talking boxing. I mean, you fought some big names back then. You fought, in championships when it's USA against Russia. You fought against Jorge Paez.
Jorge Marmero Paez
Yes,
from
Paez.
from
And those of
Mexico.
you know Paez, I mean, he was he was known the clown, right? I mean,
Yes, sir. Marmero is the clown. That was his nickname because
the
he did
clown.
backflips and front flips and cartwheels. And
that's gotta be old school. So a lot of you, if you're younger than 40, you may not know what I'm talking about,
Right.
but you do know this name, Oscar De La Hoya.
oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I mean, he has fought. How many boxing matches have you fought?
33.
33. And what was your record?
You cut me. I don't know my record.
So I'm going to go back and we talk about the Russian. Because Troy, when you were fighting out there, this was like ABC TV, right?
I didn't fight on ABC. I did fight on NBC.
NBC.
And also pay-per-view and USA Fight Nights.
Pay-per-view.
Yes, sir.
Pay-per-view. But when you talk about NBC, that was a championship fight.
Channel 5. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Channel 5. I remember that fight. Championship fight. And that's when, like, you would watch boxing on Saturday or Sunday and it was like free.
Oh,
like
yeah.
before pay-per-view. It was like, who's ever going to pay for this stuff?
Yeah.
And pay-per-view, though, when you got into that, Troy, that was, so what did that, can you say what kind of payday did you get on that?
When I fought pay-per-view, I didn't make any more. I didn't make much more than I did when I was fighting on NBC or
Okay.
on USA. It was it's been 30 something years. I retired in '98, so it's been a long time.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
so the money wasn't that good for some of the guys, and I never made the money that I was hoping to make. But I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it because I love to fight.
yeah, I mean, fighting for you was a passion. I mean, you didn't just, and it was something you worked on every day. You were known, and every time you watched Troy fight in a fight, the announcers would bring that up. You were like kicking like 600 times a day, or
I do 1,000 kicks a day.
1,000 kicks a day.
Yes, sir. For 6 weeks, and then I would train 6 days, rest on Sunday, and then pick back up on Monday. 1,000 kicks a day. That's I want to get my legs strong, and I want to be able to kick.
How many kicks could you do today?
27 maybe.
Did you break
No.
a couple hundred?
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Could you really?
Yes sir. I try to stay in shape, take care of myself.
I mean, Troy's like half of me. You know, it's like he's right here to me. I fill out the rest of the way. So I do have this question, and I'm curious because we see this in sports and in a lot of different competitive sports in general. Are you seeing a change in, say, the kid, the 12-year-old, the 11-year-old 20 years ago versus today?
Oh yeah, so there's a big difference. It's just not the physical ability. It's just not. It just doesn't seem. It's with many kids. It's more. It takes a lot more training. I say a lot more training. It's just because a lot of kids are not used to doing some type of really exercise. Like I used to play outside all day long. My mom and dad would call us in, and when it got dark, we're outside playing. But I don't know if there's too much of that going on now.
Yeah, we hear that, and I say that same story to people about, man, I was always out, and I may have to come home and check in, but my day was two things. When the sun went down and when the street lights came on, it was time to come home.
Right.
And I wonder what the kids today, the ones that are doing karate, the ones that are in 10th grade, 8th grade, 7th grade, what's their story going to be when they're our age? Man, we were,
on their game.
These kids, I was always on my phone, because they're on their phone, they're gaming, they're doing so many other things than going out and just having fun, running around.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think there needs to be a limit. Just like it was time to come in. Well, there's the limit. I was outside all day pretty much, and playing and running and playing football in our front yard and playing baseball out in the dirt road, and it's different now for kids. I'm not saying I'm better. I'm just saying it's different. Kids are on their phone or on a phone playing games, and there definitely needs to be a limit for that. I would encourage parents to schedule a limit.
Well, I tell you, I'm honored to say the word was. It hurts me a little bit to say the word was, because Troy, that is home to the new BCB Live studio. I know you know that.
Yes, sir.
But, you know, I mean, it still has to hurt you a little bit, because that was your home since 98, right?
99, actually.
99.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you're home till 99. Right now, it still has the Troy Dorsey sign outside, but that's, Troy, I'm just going to tell you now, I think it's gone next week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gone. Do you want it?
Yeah, I need to get that. Yes,
we'll
sir.
get that sign over to Troy on that, but the sign comes down. We start working on the outside of the building. Today they're working on the inside, but that is the home of BCB Live. Troy, what your place has done for us has allowed us to grow a little bit into a much bigger space. Your karate studio, 5,500 strong.
Yes, sir.
And when you got it, it was a Western Auto.
Yeah, for 42 years it was a Western Auto. Yes,
Western Auto.
Yeah.
Downtown Mansfield. You know, when you got that, Troy, you're probably like we are. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm getting ready to start something. And,
oh, yes.
And you know, Western Auto probably nobody was emotionally tied to it probably from Western Auto.
Right.
But you're tied to this place. And talk to us a little bit. I mean, you know, what did that place, or does that place mean to you? And how did it kind of help shape who Troy Dorsey was and Troy Dorsey Karate?
Well, I had a school in Dallas that opened up in 1981, so I was making the drive from Mansfield every day. And it was so nice to be able to be here in Mansfield where I live, and it just changed everything. Thank God for my wife, Leslie. She was able to help me get the building. If it wouldn't have been for her, I couldn't have got the building. So
now, kudos to you, Leslie. If Troy couldn't have got the building from you, I couldn't have got it from Troy.
Right.
So thank you, Ms. Leslie, for that.
Yeah.
But no, that was so Troy, you get the building, you get going, and now, like any business owner, you've got to get people to come in.
Oh, yes, sir.
How stressful was that? And I mean, any business is a struggle out there. You know, for our owner-operators out there, listen, it's a struggle. It's just like it is for drivers out there. But opening a business is a struggle. Troy, did it come easy, or were there some tough times involved?
Oh, there were some tough times for sure. The phone doesn't ring. People are coming in. People aren't coming in, and people are quitting. So we have a saying. I don't know if I should say it or not. I'm gonna say this saying.
Okay.
It's gonna say, so the people come in the front door and they enroll in the program, but then they go out the back door. They quit. They go out the back door. So it's we have a new generation now, and kids, like I said, they're on the game. They're on their game, and it's something new all the time. And martial arts takes, what does it take? It takes practice. It takes repetitiveness. It's over and over. Yeah. And it takes effort.
And not just from the kid, but from their parents.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to have a team. The parents, when the kid says, I don't want to go to karate day, well, the parents should say, well, we committed. We committed. Remember that day we committed, and we're going to finish our commitment. So how many people do you know that finishes out their commitments now?
Yeah, not many.
The younger generation. So anyway.
And for a parent, life is so busy right now, right? I mean, it just seems like we have cell phones. We have all of these things that are supposed to make our lives easier, and they don't. They create more chaos. They create, you read about, you get emails about, about work or something that you really shouldn't see until tomorrow when you're at work, and yet you read it and it ruins your night.
Right.
And it's almost like the parents probably like, hey, Junior, you don't want to go to that karate tonight, do you? Encouraging them.
Yeah.
Because their day has been messed up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it takes a big gap. It takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time. People want to get the quick fix. They want to get the quick fix, but it's not out there.
Yeah. No.
So they have to. It takes dedication. It takes time, and it takes, no matter what it is, that whether we're the parent or the person doing the martial arts, it takes time and it takes dedication. So that's, we build the person's dedication, and we teach them about respect and self-control and discipline. On my website, there's people just saying so many nice things about what I've been able to do, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without the Lord Jesus Christ first. And then my parents started this in karate when I was 11, and then now my wife came right up, and she's been with me for 40 years. My name is Troy Dorsey. We offer martial arts and karate training and fitness kickboxing training. Our karate program is for men, women, and children of all ages. From 4.5, we even have a student that's 91 years old. Also, we teach fitness kickboxing. It's a 1-hour non-contact class of punching and kicking a bag, because hitting a bag is like weightlifting to help strengthen and tone your muscles. Give us a call at 817-477-5523. Come in and see us today and start your martial arts experience with us now.
We are back. That was a fun interview to watch. It's always fun for me to kind of relive some of those moments. Even though I wasn't in this last interview, I just see how much our show has evolved with Troy, and it just keeps getting better and better, and we keep finding out new things. So yeah, from July 28th, time flies. We're now going to fast forward to our interview with Ty from last week, so pre-recorded. Ty Garrett is a super, super successful mixed martial artist. He has trained under Troy, and he actually is Troy's business partner. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that in the interview that you're about to watch. But great, great guy. He's located in Amarillo, Texas. And for y'all who don't know, our podcast here with Troy is located in the heart of downtown Mansfield, which is about 30 minutes south from Dallas-Fort Worth. So all in Texas, but if you don't live in Texas, you drive about 8 hours and you're still in the same state. So we're just used to that here. But go ahead, take a look at this interview that we're about to play next. And when we come back, we'll do a recap before closing out the show. Hi everyone, welcome back to If the Gloves Could Talk. I am your host, Bryce George, and today we have a very special guest joining myself and Troy. Ty, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Awesome, and Ty has been in the martial arts fighting industry learning for over 30 plus years, and we are so excited to have him on the show today. Ty, can you first introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you?
Oh man, I won the lottery. My parents used to pay for me to go to martial arts classes, and now people pay me to go teach martial arts classes. So I literally get to either dress up like a superhero or a ninja every day and play with my friends. And it's called a job. So I just love my career. I get to kick and punch and throw my buddies every day.
I love it, and I see your friend there in the back with you. Does he have a name?
That is Deadpool. Right after I had a big fight, Mr. Dorsey was actually in my corner. I was in Fort Worth. I got a contract to fight for the Professional Kickboxing Association, and I was thinking about something cool to get myself, and I went to the mall to buy a piece of cookie cake because I was on like a 90-day diet, no sugar, no carbs. I told my wife, I'm coming back with cookie cake. And I showed up to the mall, and there was like this giant line at the cookie cake store. So I just wandered around, and I saw Deadpool, and me and my son came home with Deadpool. And if it wasn't my birthday, I think my wife would have killed me, but it all worked out. It was my birthday to give to myself.
I love it. I love it. Ty, can you also tell us how you first met Troy, and what's it been like training under him?
Well, my coach was one of Mr. Dorsey's first black belts. My regular coach, my day-to-day coach, my mentor is Mark Sturkey, and he started coaching me when I was a teenage boy. I was a black belt in Taekwondo, but I was wanting to learn how to be more competitive, and he started teaching me kickboxing instead of karate and Taekwondo, and he was always telling me these war stories about, well, Troy did this, and Troy went over to England or Ireland, and Troy fought in Europe, and Troy went to Germany, and so I grew up hearing about all these war stories. Later on, right when I graduated college, I got to test for my 4th degree black belt under Master Dorsey. it was so cool because like for 10 years it was like hearing legends of Thor or legends of
Right.
Hercules. Then all of a sudden you're working out with Hercules. It was so cool. Then you go another 10 years and Mr. Dorsey asked me to be his business partner and help him with the Troy Dorsey kickboxing curriculum and a few other things. And then after we started working together as a business, he kind of started becoming my daily coach. And I think Mr. Dorsey's cornered me. I think in my last 11 full contact fights now, I could be off by a little bit, but he's been in my corner every time I've laced up my gloves to fight competitively for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been in my corner. So I'm blessed to get to grow up and train with one of my childhood heroes.
I love that. And we're actually going to be diving into learning more about the business here further down. But Troy, can you explain to us, especially for our viewers that may not know, when you're in his corner, does that basically just mean you're his biggest cheerleader? Like, what does that look like during a fight?
So get them to get the fighter to kind of calm down. Usually they're kind of breathing fast and they're all excited. So yeah, just kind of get them to settle down, and then also let them know, get them ideas what they should be doing, what they could be doing, what their opponent's doing, and how to defend those things. So they're defend those techniques. So working on just overall helping them win the round, one round at a time. Now, Mr. Garrett he's an unbelievable fighter. He's a thinking fighter. So and he rarely gets hit. So it's really difficult.
That's hard to
score.
come by.
Yeah, it's really difficult to score on him, and he's always going to get in and get out before he get a chance to score on him. So he's really a good thinking, smart fighter. I don't think I've seen him ever have a black eye or a bloody nose or a cut eye. I don't think I've never seen that. But that was on the other his opponents. They end up not looking too good. So.
So, Troy, it sounds like you had definitely played a big part in helping Ty advance in his career. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about when y'all first met and really what it's been like to see him grow in his career.
Well, we met, I believe. You might help me out here, Mr. Professor Garrett. Was it in the 90s or was it 2000?
Seems like it. It was January 17th, 2007. It was my 4th degree black belt test. That was the first time I tested underneath you.
Okay. So Mark Sturkey, one of my students, he actually earned his black belt with my wife, Leslie. He moved to Amarillo. So he searched out some martial arts schools and wanted to keep training. And he found a great instructor, found Mr. Professor Garrett. And then at that time, he started training with Professor Garrett. And then it was time for Professor Garrett to test and get promoted to a higher degree of black belt. So I went up there and I did that, and we kind of we just knew each other on really just martial arts basis. Yes sir, no sir, and hello. We still say that to each other, but at the same time, we hadn't developed a friendship. So since that time, we've developed a friendship. I've been to his house many times. He's been to my house, and he is the curriculum originator or developer for our Troy Dorsey Kickboxing organization, which we have schools that use the curriculum, or they can work with our business systems, or they can do it all. So anyway, he's awesome, both in the business and both in developing curriculum. He really has a gift for sure in those 2 or 3 areas, and fighting too. So he's just the wrapped it all in once. He's a great businessman. He's a great fighter. He's a great coach. He's a great trainer, a great teacher. He's just he's a rare person, very rare person. Usually, someone can teach, or they can sell, or they can only teach, or they can only sell, or they can only run a business, or they can only all the skills that it takes to be a martial artist and being a business owner. Not many of them hardly any can operate like he operates, both in the ring and outside the ring. He's unbelievable.
But that actually leads into my next question, Troy, what you were saying. So who exactly wanted to start this business? Whose ideal was it? And why start a business with each other?
Well, Mr. Garrett, I'm not sure if he had been I guess he had been thinking about it, and he just thought about the system of using the techniques that I used to win my world titles, and helping school owners in the area and around the country. And we even have a affiliate in Europe. So that's what it was. Just helping helping school owners with a curriculum and also with their business systems, how to own and
Okay.
operate.
I actually,
Would you
I
say?
suggested Mr. Dorsey should do it. I didn't want to be part of the business. I wanted to be a customer. And I suggested, man, you're so good. You have so many cool techniques, and you're world champion in boxing, you're world champion in kickboxing, you're world champion in karate. Very few people can say they're a 3-sport world champion. And those sports are similar, but they are not the same. Karate punch, karate angles are much different than kickboxing punches and angles, are much different than boxing punches and angles. So it's kind of like saying soccer and basketball, the goal's the same, put a ball through a hoop, but the way you do it is so different. So just because you're good at one, you won't be good at the other. Troy, man, he's 3-sport world champion. So I always felt like I had a cheat code since I got to train with him, and no one except his daily students at his dojo get to train with him. So I would drive 6 hours to buy private lessons and then go hit people with moves they were not prepared for, which was awesome for me. But I kept telling Mr. Dorsey he needs to have a lineage he needs 20 black belt school owners like me underneath him that are learning his curriculum, and that way the Troy Dorsey system can outlive him. Because right now, or 10 years ago, as soon as he retired, his style would die with him, which I thought was kind of sad because it's just a unique, awesome style. So I was just telling him if he ever wanted to do that, I'd be his first client. And then during COVID, he called me and goes, all right, I'm ready to do the kickboxing organization you talked about. And I was like, great, let me get my credit card. And he goes, no, you're going to run it. And I wasn't ready for that. I do my best, but I think we've done a cool job on the curriculum side. I kind of took the college model where martial artists usually they just kind of show up and they teach whatever. Like maybe today I feel like teaching jab, or today I'm going to teach overhand. And the equivalent would be you just show up to college, you're in the same classroom as all the other kids, and you have a professor that maybe today they teach math, or maybe tomorrow they teach World War II history, or maybe the third day they teach trig. Can you imagine how hard and confusing college would be if you just show up and have no idea what you're going to learn? And that's literally like 90% of martial arts gym owners. So what we did, which I thought was really cool, is we kind of do it like semesters. We'll do 6 weeks like boxing 101, 6 weeks Muay Thai 101, 6 weeks American style kickboxing 101, 6 weeks Dutch kickboxing 101. And then once they have all the basics down, then they get to go to their sophomore level. And now they'll learn the Philly shell, or they'll learn the karate blitz, and they'll stay on it for a semester. And just like college, if you do a whole semester on marketing, by the end, you kind of have an understanding and a certain level of mastery on marketing. So we started formulating our curriculum with that same idea in mind. And I feel like we're producing better athletes quicker than ever before because now there's structure. And then the really cool thing, if I have a student from Amarillo that's on vacation in the Mansfield area or Dallas, they can go take the exact same lesson. So whether it's Mr. Dorsey teaching slip to overhand right, or it's me teaching it, or one of our other affiliates, our affiliate schools have the ability, if they wish, to follow our curriculum on the day-to-day, where my students are learning the exact same moves in Amarillo that Mr. Dorsey's are learning today in Mansfield. So I think that gives us a lot of power, and it also gives us the ability to shuffle coaches around because we actually have the exact same degree. Where so many martial arts schools, I might be a black belt, but I'm not a black belt in your style, so I can't teach at your school. Where all of our schools are starting to learn the same curriculum so we can interplay, interchange coaches, rotate coaches. Sometimes we'll even do a coach swap where I'll send Mr. Dorsey one of my coaches and he sends me one of his for a week, and we all train together and level up together. It's really cool.
That's genius. And assuming this is where the Professor Garrett name comes from.
I'm fine with people just calling me Ty. There's martial arts. There's a lot of titles, and some of them get a little weird. Mr. Dorsey's actually asked me to call him Troy, and I always try to call him Mr. Dorsey or Master Dorsey in front of students, and it's just out of respect. But he's never made me call him anything. He told me I could call him anything I wanted. I go, can I start calling you Mr. T? And he goes, let's go back to Mr. Dorsey.
No, Mr. T.
Yeah, no, Mr. T.
Wow. Well, I didn't even know that about the business. I mean, I've been following you guys on Facebook, and of course, you've looked like the organization's doing very well, but I love that structure to it. I love the philosophy behind it. And I also think that's how you're definitely going to retain more students. And, it's like you said, it's not like you just show up to class and after that, you're not going to learn about it again. It's this continued support and continued education. I love it. So I will go on to my next question, and Ty, I'll ask you because we know that you're a very decorated professional fighter. What is your favorite style of fighting, and can you tell us a little bit about some of the different places you fought?
I want a professional contract. I haven't fought professionally. My coach and me decided a long time ago, if I'm not getting paid a certain number, we're going to keep the pads on. So pros take their pads off now, which I'm fine doing, but I want to be paid because it really hurts. I've done a few fights with no pads, and even when you win, your hands are busted, your shins are busted. But my favorite style, I've done karate, wrestling, boxing, taekwondo, sanda, kickboxing in the US, kickboxing in Europe, cage fighting, MMA, jiu-jitsu, no-gi. So I've done just about every popular martial arts style out there competitively. And by far, my favorite's kickboxing. I like MMA, but MMA, man, you feel it. My last cage fight, I won by knockout. I took no real offensive damage. My hand was a little busted for several weeks. My shin bones were both bleeding. I remember after my fight, it was a foolish mistake, but I jumped into bed in Oklahoma. Me and my wife were in whatever hotel we were in, and I had open wounds on my shins. I didn't think anything of it. I cleaned them out and went to bed. The sheet coagulated to my shins during the night. My wife gets up around 9 a.m. She's like, time for breakfast. And she pulled the covers off me.
Oh.
And ripped all those scabs off. That hurt more than the whole fight. So
I can imagine.
All that to say, MMA is fun, but it hurts. Where kickboxing, I feel like I can do a kickboxing match, and if I do a good job, I can do another kickboxing match the next day. Because with the safety equipment, the bigger gloves, I don't hurt my hands as much. With the shin pads, even when you knock somebody out with a shin kick, that sounds cool. Go shin kick a tree really hard, and that's about what it feels like when you kick somebody in the skull. So it looks cool on camera, but I really like kickboxing because you get to wear the safety equipment and you can rack up a bunch of fights. My last time in Europe, I racked up 15 fights in 2 days. There's no way. I would have died if I did 15 cage fights in 2 days. I wouldn't have been able to keep going into the ring. But with the safety equipment on, as long as you're not getting knocked out, I feel like kickboxing's safer, easier on the body, and I'm 41, so I don't have a whole lot of miles left in me, so I'm trying to preserve what I can so I can keep competing as long as I can.
Troy, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, he talked about fighting a kickboxing match and then the next day not being able to fight. But he's just so good. His defense is so good. He just is really able to not get hit and avoid getting kicked and punched. So he could fight. I don't know how many days in a row he could fight. Maybe in a week in a row he could fight every day. A kickboxing match. Of course, it is really, really difficult, and plus because you're getting hit so hard because it's full contact. It's when I say full contact, people are you got someone trying to knock you out. So, but he really is. His skills are unbelievable.
Great. And my last question for Ty is, What is the best thing you've learned from Mr. T here?
Well, I pity the fool that doesn't train with Mr. T. That's that's a tough one. Recently, it's really small. Mr. Dorsey's tightened up my footwork I got started in karate and taekwondo, so the range is real far away. So we might be 6 feet away, and I will lunge in. So that was kind of my base. Then I started learning boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Sanda, and all the other styles, and those are all much closer. So my footwork, I think I've always we call it an exit when you retreat. Retreating sounds cowardly. Exit sounds like, tactical. So we call it a exit. So when I exit, I'll dart too far away. Lately, Mr. Dorsey has been having me do a half step away. That way the guy misses, but he misses by like an inch. That way I can counterpunch. Whether your punch misses by an inch or 8 inches, it doesn't hurt at all. So I don't need to dodge your kick or your punch by a foot. I really want to dodge it by a 1/4 inch, where it just almost hits me, and now I'm in range to counter. So that's one thing he's been working with me a lot, is just tightening up my footwork, which is nice because I'm getting older and my cardio's not as good, so now I don't have to use as much energy when I fight. And then the other thing is this is so subtle. He told me when I was punching, I was about 1/2 inch too tall. And I was like, well, that's 1/2 inch isn't going to help that much. But lo and behold, once I started getting just a 1/2 inch shorter, I started punching so much harder. I was feeling sensations in my biceps I've never felt. Like I've hurt my knuckles hitting too hard. I've never felt my bicep feel like I'm lifting weights while punching. And as soon as I did that tiny of littlest adjustments, just sit a little bit shorter, I started punching so much harder. I got multiple body knockouts this last time we went to Europe, which is definitely from training directly under Master Dorsey. He just digs the body. Man, when he would hit the body, it looked like he was hitting someone that owed him money. It was just so much more efficient than the way I used to do it when I was just punching with my arm.
Troy, it sounds like you definitely are tough on Ty in a good way. You're always bettering him as a fighter.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I've not fought now since 1998, so I really miss it a lot. So I get almost the same high when I help somebody like Mr. Garrett, and really he's been the only one I've so far that has continued to train with me and continued fighting and using the things that we taught him. I have another fighter, Caleb Ebel, and he's going to be fighting in January, I believe. So
Yes,
anyways, Professor Garrett, he listens, he practices, he thinks, and he's got all these things going on in his mind to not get hit. Not get hit. So if you can't get hit, you can't get beat. He's done an amazing job at that for sure.
Everyone that's watching this, remember that if you can't get hit, you can't get beat. So I think that can be applied inside the ring and outside of it. So great stuff we've been able to talk about today. Love this conversation. We've definitely been able to dive more into actually talking about the fighting more than we've done in some of our past interviews. So I'm so happy and really appreciate you, Ty, for joining us today on the show.
Pleasure.
And we'll definitely, next time you are here in Mansfield, we'll have to do an in-person interview with you. So this is just part one, you guys. We're going to have a part 2. So thank you all for watching If the Gloves Could Talk. And after this commercial break, we'll be right back to recap this episode.
Oh, wow. Wow. So many memories here. I'm on to a new place now. This is really unbelievable. So when we opened up, we had our martial arts classes over here, and we had our kickboxing classes over here. But this is a great memory. So many memories made here. So many black belts. About 400 black belts during 1999 to 2022. I'm just now getting it, believe it or not. I've been in business for 41 years and with 2 karate schools, and I'm just now getting where I'm being able to get home a little earlier.
What's up, Destroyers? And in case you haven't found out, that's what I've decided I'm going to start calling our viewers and our audience. Troy's fighting name was the Destroyer, so I feel like it's only right to call you guys the Destroyers, our group of followers. So, and thank y'all for following us so much. It's a joy creating content for you guys. But great interview with Ty. We're definitely going to bring him back on the show again because there's just still so much to uncover. And I think that was a great interview to close out before Christmas. You know, it is just a few days before Christmas when you'll be watching this, and it's crazy to think back on everything that has been done in 2023. We moved into this new building officially in March of this year, which this building used to be Troy's studio he owned for over 20 years, taught thousands of students in here. So this used to all be Matt in here. Kids, adults were studying under Troy in this building. So lots of history here, and of course lots and lots of great memories, and we just want to continue that same thing. So I know I haven't had Troy here, and of course it's never as much fun when he's not here with me, but duty calls when you're running your whole entire business. So it's going to be like that sometimes, and I hope I can do a good job filling in for you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Really happy holidays, Merry Christmas. So excited to see what we have installed for 2024. We got one more episode that's going to be released before the new year, so stay tuned for that. But as always, thank you guys for watching. If the Gloves Could Talk, see you next time.